Greetings and salutations, folks. I'm Josh from Layzee Acres. Thank you for tuning in. We are saving the world here, one trailer at a time. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to take a look at a 2023 Reflection, but we're going to do an orientation on or a walkthrough, kind of like a how-to video, how to operate all the components. It's been a little bit since we've done one of these. These are pretty sweet. This is like telling a pretty girl no. It doesn't happen very often here at Layzee Acres. And we're going to go through it in a way, we're going to go through the whole thing. So, but at the end, we're going to clip in some components like the on-demand water heater, the auto leveling system, winterization, the Compass Connect. That kind of stuff is going to kind of get clipped in at the end after we go through the whole thing. But let's say hello to my friend, that Dutch bad boy, Brendan Hannemeyer, on the camera today. Say hello, Brendan.
How's it going, happy campers? Thank you so much for tuning in to the #1 RV YouTube channel in the world. We're excited to bring you this orientation video. Hit the like and subscribe button. We're also on Instagram, we're on TikTok, and we're on Facebook. Follow us along there also. Comment section's open. Let us know if you have any questions along the video. If you have any pointers that you want to add, let us know. We appreciate it.
Yeah, this will be long. This will be probably pretty close to an hour. Feel free to skip ahead if you're bored of what we're doing here. So this cap is pretty straightforward, pretty maintenance free. There's nothing you need to like do for sealants and stuff like that on the actual cap. Coming down the corner molds though, it is something you want to keep an eye on. These sealants right through here, these are all caulked with just clear silicone. You want to be inspecting that and making sure that looks good. Down the corners here, down all your edges like that. You want to be inspecting that fairly regularly, keeping an eye on those sealants there. Because if they break free, there is another layer of sealant behind, but you want to keep that caulking in good order. We've got a Rhino PinBox on this full Reflection. The Rhino box, they're now coming out with options to upgrade this to like a MoRide or something like that. So now you can replace this for a better PinBox if you want to. But those are just kind of getting released right about now. On the 150 series Reflection, it has a rotating PinBox here by Kurt. We've done a video on that separate to kind of show you how that works. But this is the standard PinBox on this full Reflection. Now, dropping down in here, we do have a lot going on. In this area right here, it's typically just thought of as a rougher style storage. The key here is you have your battery in here. Let me get this out of the way, Brendan. Red is positive, black is negative. I know that seems obvious, but that is the truth. If you, it is the truth. If you hook your battery up backwards for whatever reason, there is breakers inside on the actual converter that you'll kick. So if you've done that, that's kind of what happens. Also, if you disconnect your battery and the trailer's plugged in, and one of these positive leads touches the frame here, it will ground out and kick those fuses as well. So just be careful when you're unhooking and hooking it up. Make sure you hook up the right way, and make sure you don't let any of these positive leads touch the frame of the trailer. For the winter, it's a good idea when you take these leads off to wrap them up with electrical tape just so they don't dangle around and touch the frame there. Now, we do have a solar panel on these Reflections, so there's really not a good reason to disconnect your battery regularly because the solar panel is charging the battery. But still, for the winter, you want to make sure you bring this inside. Don't store it on a concrete floor. Put it on a piece of wood, and don't let it freeze. Yeah, so key is there. Red's positive, black's negative. Stored inside for the winter, and you don't really need to disconnect the battery on the regular because you have a solar panel on these Reflections. Now, in behind this cover right here is a whole lot of resettable breakers, and often if something 12 volts is not working inside, it'll either be a fuse on the breaker panel, or it'll be one of these is kicked in through here and hasn't reset itself. So a lot of electrical comes in through here, so it's either at the breaker panel or through here if you're going to have a problem with that. Now, we have a 50 amp charge controller on these Reflections. Are you able to see this, Brendan?
Yep.
Okay. Now, you have a selector here. I can't quite see it because there's lights in my eyes.
Shut the light off.
There we go. How's that?
It's good.
Okay. You can actually select. Still can't see it properly. You can actually select what battery you're using here on your charge controller. So lithium, sealed battery, or AGM. So we have a sealed battery here today, just a lead acid battery. You can adjust that to an AGM battery or a lithium battery. Why that matters is lithium batteries get charged at like a different voltage than like a regular battery. So if you've upgraded batteries, you're going to want to adjust that charge controller to allow for that. The converter on the inside now is actually prepped and ready to go to have like an auto sense feature that will charge your lithium battery to the proper voltage on the new reflections.
Do we want to talk about just like the hookups?
Yes, yes we do. Thank you, Brendan. So this is your breakaway cable. This has changed over the last couple of years. It used to be like a little silver piece that kind of just dangles around. Now it's like an elastic piece, which is great, but still activates the same. You want to hook this up to the truck with a separate link, so not just like on your pin or anything like that. You have to hook this separately on the truck itself. And what happens here is that the trailer ever becomes detached from the truck. This pulls a pin out here and activates your brakes as you go down the road, so the trailer doesn't follow you if the trailer falls off. So that's a really key point. In behind here, we've got our 7-way pin. Okay, this is very standard. Your truck has to be ready to go for this when it's ready to pick up your trailer. This activates the lights, the brakes, all that kind of stuff. Quick point, when we're talking about the backup camera on this, when we get to that, to set that up properly, your truck has to be hooked up, giving power to the 7-way to activate the backup camera at the back. So that's a key when we're hooking up the backup camera. So really, when you're hooked up to the truck, you got to make sure your 5th-foot hitch is latched, hooked onto the pin here. You got to make sure your breakaway cable's on and you're plugged in with your lights. And always check your lights when you're going to get going traveling down the road.
And then pull your legs up.
Yes, pull your legs up. We've done a video on hooking up like auto leveling and stuff like that, so you may want to check that out. But whenever I hook up, before I actually bring the legs up, I'll do a little bit of a test tug to try to pull away from the trailer while the legs are still down, just to make sure that hitch is latched in properly. And then once you've done that, then you can lift your legs up. Right around here, we've got our propane tanks. Okay. Now, there is a switch here to switch between which tank you want to use. Right now, the switch is pointing towards that side, so it's running off of that propane tank. And you'll notice, because I put propane on this already, you notice this green line. You notice this green line here. That means that tank has propane. Once that tank goes empty, this will turn red, and without you touching this, it will automatically start drawing off of this tank right here. But then you'll note, you come out here, you say, hey, oh, the other tank is red, so it's empty. I'll flip this over, okay, and then it will start. It'll give us me a true like reading here, but because there's no propane in this tank, it just turned red on me. See how that worked?
Yep.
Okay. And then just back and forth like that. So right now I just got propane in the other tank, so I'm gonna leave that over on that side. It tells me I have propane. We're gonna light some stuff up as we go inside, just back and forth like so. There is like little padlock spots in here. That's illegal. Do not lock your propane tanks in case of an emergency situation. You don't want like a fire department have to deal with padlocks or something like that. So never lock your propane tanks up. That's a very bad idea. Doing good here, Brendan?
Yep.
Okay. These are barn style doors on this guy. Couple components we're going to come back to. We got the auto leveling system here. We're going to come back to that. And we're going to come back to the tire link system that's prepped right through there. Now here's our Nautilus system. It is actually very easy to use this. They give you a legend here letting you know where to have the valves for what operation you're doing. If we'll just go through these. So dry camping, that means you're not hooked up to city water. You have water in the freshwater tank, and you're going to use your water pump to suck from your tank. So that's what dry camping mode means. Power fill tank, that means you're gonna fill the fresh water. I've already done that, so I brought a hose out here this morning, or actually last night, and hooked it up to here. I turn these valves into this position, this position right here, and I turn the water on, and that fills up your freshwater tank. If you're using city water, so you actually have water at the site, you're gonna bring your hose in, hook it up right through here, turn these valves to city water connection, and then you're going to have water at the taps. When you turn the water on, you'll have water at the taps ready to go. Winterizing position, this is when we're going to winterize, and we actually are going to winterize this trailer today when we're done, so we'll do that in the video. But that's how you have those valves when you're going to winterize the trailer. That bypasses the tank, that use the water pump to suck the antifreeze through the trailer, so we only have it in that position when we're winterizing. Now sanitize. What they mean by sanitize is you can actually use the water pump to suck water or like a cleaner into your freshwater tank, just so you can clean the inside of the freshwater tank. So that's what they mean by that. You're going to turn that to that way, turn on your water pump, and it's going to suck from that hose into your tank, not into your lines, into your tank. So some people, if they don't have an end on the water hose when they're going to fill up their freshwater tank, what they do is they have a little basin here. They're filling up the this jug full of water, and then they're using the siphon feature to pump from this jug of water here into their freshwater tank. So that's if you don't have an end on the hose and you can't thread in through here. Does that make sense, Brendan?
Yep.
Okay. So just however you want to use this trailer at the time, flip those valves to that position. Double check what you're doing, because it is kind of, you just want to make sure you have that right. Now off of plumbing here, if you have cable or satellite at the site, you would hook that up into here. Satellite is just going to run out into the main living spot. You hook up your receiver into your TV, away you go with satellite. Cable, that will just, so you have cable right through here, that will actually split out and operate your like your cable connection on the off door side, in your bedroom, and then your living space. So cable is split. Satellite is just a straight run right to the kitchen TV or the living room TV. You have an outside shower here. There is a hose that comes with the trailer. Pardon me. That threads on like so. Okay. I might get sprayed here, but we'll see. But this works just like a quick connect. So you slide this back, push this in, let it out. Now the one thing about this is you actually have to put like a good amount of pressure when you're pushing this in. But basically when you get that in, you can use the hot and the cold, spray down your feet, spray down the dog, whatever you want to do through there. The biggest issue with outside showers is people forget to winterize them. Even if you haven't used them for that year, you got to make sure you winterize, like run antifreeze through your outside shower. Receptacle, this will be attached to your GFI, so this isn't working. It's because GFI inside is kicked. This hookup right here, we've talked about this already. We talked about the valves, but that's your city water connection, your freshwater fill, your sanitize, and your winterize is all through this white connection right here. This black water connection, or this black fitting right here, that is specifically to spray down the inside of your black water tank, or a black water flush kit. That's all that does. And whenever you hook up water to this, you have to make sure your black water tank is open. You never want to operate this with your black water tank closed. On the topic of sewer, we have our gate valves in through here. This particular model has all of our gate valves here in this system. Certain floor plans over reflection or whatever you're looking at won't have these here all together. So sometimes there's two here and maybe there's one down below. So make sure you find your specific gate valves and locate them. But they are labeled right here. You can see gray tank, black tank. If you have like a gate valve somewhere else, there will be like a little sticker that will say gray tank or black tank, letting you know where those are. But make sure you locate them. That's like your first thing before you try to do your sewer. Now, the sewer itself, the exit is down through here. It's just got like these 4 nipples on here. You can put basically you get a sewer hose with this fitting and just twist the sewer hose on and you're good to go. Legally, you have to have your cap on when you're going down the road. So make sure you have this on for when you're going down the road. Otherwise, when you're hooked up to the sewer, you just thread that on, easy peasy. Morning, Eric. So that's where the sewer comes out, but this is really where it gets controlled. So we have the gray water, black tank. If you have sewer at the site, you've got your sewer hose right in the ground, you can leave your gray waters open like we have them right now. But you always want to make sure you keep your black water closed. Okay, so out is open, closed is in. As you're showering, you're doing dishes, whatever you're doing there with your gray water, that's your sinks and your showers, that water's just running out into the ground, into the sewer. That's fine. But you never want to have your black water tank open. If you leave your black water tank open, what's going to happen is the liquids are going to run out, but the solids are going to build up on the bottom of the tank. So that's a problem. Eventually you get like a poo pyramid. And it'll eventually get up to the toilet, actually. So you always want to make sure you leave your black water tank closed until you're ready to dump your tank. When you go to dump your tank, your black water tank, you need to make sure you close your grays, like so. And then open your black. So that way that when you open your black and you've closed your grays, there's no way the black water can go back up into the gray water tank. So open at a time. If you're going to a dumping station, so you don't have sewer at the site, you're driving up to the dumping station, you get there, most people will dump their black water first and then dump their gray. It doesn't really matter because you have a black water flush kit anyways. But let's say you get up to the site, okay, to the sewer drain there. We're gonna come out here because everything's closed at this point. We get to the sewer dump. We're gonna pull the gray water, let that go, let that water run out. Once that's empty, we're gonna come back here, close the grays, open up the black. Now, once that's open, okay, we can hook up a garden hose to our black water flush kit, okay, turn the water on, and that's gonna spray the inside of our black water tank, just cleaning that all out. It's a good idea to get yourself a little accessory. You can get like a sewer fitting that's clear. If you put that on there and you have your black water tank flush kit running, once that water starts coming out of there clear, then you know your tank is clean. We can shut this off and then close this. It is disastrous if you hook up your black water flush kit with your gate valve closed. That's a real problem because eventually the tank will fill up. It'll go through the toilet or go through the vent pipe, whatever. Always make sure you have your black water valve open when you hook up your black water flush kit. That was a lot, Brendan. You feel good about it?
Yep.
Okay. Right here's our Furrion on-demand water heater. We're going to come back to this, how to drain it, how to winterize it, that kind of thing in a minute. Here's your furnace. There's really nothing for your typical customer to do. Don't touch it, don't cover it, don't put screens on it. It's meant to not be obstructed at all, so just don't touch this. Now, pardon me, these reflections across the board are 50 amp service. I've got a little adapter right now to adapt it on 30 amp service. When you're on 50 amps, so you hook this up to the park and you're on 50 amp service, you can run everything. You can run 2 ACs, you can run your microwave, everything all together, it's no problem. If you adapt it down to 30 amps, like what I've done here, you can only run 1 AC at a time. You won't be able to run 2 ACs. And then if you adapt it down even further, from 50 to 30 to 15 amps, like your household plug, then you can't run an AC. Okay? So that's kind of as an example here. This is a 50 to 30. This is a 30 to 15. If you're running it on 30 amps, you could run 1 AC. If you're running on 15 amps, you can't run any ACs. At the end of the day, it's not like you're going to actually dink anything up. What would happen is if you ran 2 ACs on 30 amps, is you just kick the breaker at the pole. It's not the end of the world, but you're not supposed to run 2 ACs on 30, and then if you're adapted down to 15, you can't run 1 AC. Pardon me. Now, the reflection uses a combination of Schwinn-Tech and rack and pinion style slides. The maintenance on a rack and pinion style slide is fairly straightforward. You want to keep your wipe seal and your bulb seal lubricated, so use like a car seal lubricant, spray it on a rag, go up and down the wipe seal and up and down the bulb seal. And then if you want to get really crazy, or not really crazy, but if you want to get really in depth, you can lubricate this, can you see this, Brendan? There's like teeth in through here. You can lubricate those teeth, and what you do is you get like a lithium or like a dry lubricant, have someone run the slide in and out while you're spraying that wheel right through there with the teeth running through that. Again, that's pretty in depth. Most people just have like a service department do that for them, but if you want to lubricate your gears and stuff like that, you can do it through there. Don't use like a wet lubricant though, because what happens is if you use like a wet lubricant, as you go down the road, dirt's gonna spin up and in there and attach to that wet lubricant. So use like a dry lubricant. Right here we have our class 3 receiver. This is good for 300 pounds downwards pressure, 3,000 pounds pulling. In Canada, you can go fifth wheel to trailer as long as you're less than 75 feet overall. Different provinces and different states are different, but in Canada you can do that. We've got our roof ladder here on this topic. It's good for 300 pounds. So if you're heavier than that, you can't use it. It's really, really important you get up and check your seals every 90 days. That is part of owning a travel trailer. These kind of seals, right? Visually inspect them, periodically. But the roof sealant is the most important. Be up there checking that, maintaining that. We've done a video on maintaining your roof seals. If you have questions on how to do that, just check that out on the channel there. But you want to be checking your seals every 90 days. That is part of owning a travel trailer. We have the Insight Lipper camera on this guy. We're going to go through how to set that up. Quick point, Reflection is actually discontinuing that. So models that are built after September probably won't have this this Insight camera. They're going to switch back to the Furrion Prep with the Furrion side camera prep. So just a quick little note there. We got that note yesterday, right, Brendan?
Yep.
Now, the other style of slide out we see on Reflection is what's called a Schwintek. They're both Lipper slide outs. This is a different style. This will run in and out straight, just straight, like square like that. The rack and pinion style will actually lean in and out. That's normal. Maintenance on this one, same idea. Keep your bulb seals lubricated. Keep your wipe seals lubricated, and just make sure this is free of debris, like dirt or sticks and stuff like that. Don't get caught in through here. That's really it for maintaining that slide out system. Your outside receptacle, whether it's in the pass-through storage or whatever, will all be attached to a GFI. So if those aren't working, that's because your GFI is kicked. You have an outside cable hookup right here. We have Goodyear tires. Depending on the size of your tire, they'll be at different PSI. So just read on the sidewall of your particular tire. Keep them up at the maximum pressure. I believe these are 16, so I believe they're at 80 PSI. But don't take my word for it. Read your physical tire and keep those up at that pressure. They are nitro fill. I don't know if I buy into that. I don't think I'm going to Canadian Tire and filling up with nitrogen. I would just use air, but that's a preference thing. That's up to you. The bearings themselves, they're greasable fittings, like a greasable bearing. If you pop this silver piece out, there's another rubber piece in behind. You pop that out and you can grease your bearing. Now people go way too gung-ho with this. You're supposed to grease your bearing, so a pump of grease at 6,000 miles, and then you're supposed to repack the bearings at 12,000 miles, okay? And repacking means pulling the wheel, pulling the hub, cleaning the grease out of the bearing, and repacking them and putting them in. So putting grease in the bearing, putting them back in. So your average customer's not doing that themselves, bringing that to a garage. But here we're going to say 6,000 miles, you put a shot of grease in, 12,000 miles, you repack the bearings, okay? If you actually read the full manual, it tells you to do it every year, which I think is a little excessive, but take that however you want. 6,000 and 12,000. Now, the one thing about these stairs that I've seen, so it depends if we're talking about a full reflection or a half-ton total reflection. The full reflection will have these secure steps. The big thing I see with them is people don't adjust the legs and they're adjusted up too high. And then what can happen is the bottom of your door frame will scrape on the top of the steps. So always make sure you have this adjusted before you just go slamming your door, because you'll bend your door piece right through here. The other thing about it is people will try to bring these down when the door is halfway open. Always have the door all the way open and then bring your stairs down. And this is what I mean. So full, up and in, this latch, okay? If the door is halfway open, it's going to catch, right? So have the door all the way open, release this, like so, and then flip that over. And then, yeah, while we're here, you can see how you can adjust the length of this leg with this pin. You just pull that pin out, shorten the leg, your length of the leg, depending on the terrain. And you can adjust them like that. Now, on the 150 series reflection, they just have the standard pull-out style steps. Really not too much to talk about with that. They have like these feet on the bottom you can pull out to make them secure, but really nothing too crazy about that, right, Brendan?
Right, correct.
We're into our pass-through storage here. Here's the other side. There is a battery disconnect, so maybe you're putting this away for storage and you're underneath trees or it's inside, that kind of thing. In that case, you would hit this battery disconnect. Okay, disconnect that battery, and then your battery won't go dead while it's in storage. But if you're outside, trailer's in the sun, I really wouldn't worry about disconnecting the battery because it's constantly being charged off the solar panel. This guy right here This is a little crank. This will be to bring up and down your spare tire. It will also be to crank in or out your rack and pinion style slide. So that's what that's for.
What about your awning?
That is not with
A
this.
different one?
There is no crank for this style of awning.
No?
No.
You don't pop that hole out?
No. No. You're thinking you pop that plug out there?
Correct.
No. No, we could take a look at it, but this is definitely not for that. I bet you, yeah, let's take a look at it later on, Brendan. But I know for a fact this is just for your spare tire up and down, and then to bring in or out your awning. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong, Brendan.
Your slide.
What's that?
You just, you said to bring in your
Oh,
awning.
shoot.
Yeah. This is your
Okay.
slide and your
So
jack.
slide, and not your jacks.
That's it.
Slide and your spare tire. That's what this is for. Your spare tire is mounted underneath. Often it's at the front, but I guess on this one it's at the back. Yeah, so your spare tire is right through there. There will be a spot right here, actually, you can see it. This goes through there. You can crank your spare tire down. See that hole right there? You seeing this, Brendan? It's okay. That hole right there would bring in or out your rack and pinion style slide. There is not a crank to bring in or out your Schwintek style slide. That's a little more in depth. Another topic for another day. Okay, now on the topic of the awning, we do have space to bring it out, Brandon. So let's just hop in there and do that. You can stand out here. You have a one control system right here. You can hook up that with your phone. We're going to get to that at the end of how to actually use that. But for right now, we're just going to hit the switch. So, when you're bringing your awning out, you don't want to hit anything. That's one key, right, Brendan?
That's a big key.
Don't hit anything. Don't hit anybody.
Don't put it out when it's super windy.
That's right. Yeah, that is the, we get calls every year. People who've left their awnings out. When
The
it's
storm
windy.
ripped it off.
Yeah, that's not a warranty thing. So if it's windy, put your awning away. If it's really raining really hard, put your awning away. I would say if it's even raining average, yeah, I would put the awning away, because if it collapses under the weight of rain or rips off because of wind, it's never a warranty thing. Doesn't matter how good an arguing you are with the company, they will not replace that in that situation. Now, you want to bring this out as far as this, or when you can see the valance drop down. And the valance is sitting at 90 degrees, drop down like that. That means it's as far as it can. If you continue to extend the awning, it will actually start to roll up backwards. So that's not ideal. It's not the end of the world either, but not ideal. You want to bring it out to this point where the valance is hanging down 90 degrees, and then just bring it in. Now, there is a pitch you can set on these. So if you want to bring down one corner over the other, you can just grab this piece right here and press it down like that. And now we have a pitch. The water will run off to one side instead of just picking a side. I chose this side, Brandon, because actually I can reach it. Yeah, I can reach the other one. So, yeah, key is don't leave it open in the wind or when it's really rainy. You can pitch it one side or the other, bring it out as far as that valance is at 90 degrees. And then for cleaning the awning, just don't use a really abrasive cleaner, because there is a film on there that you'll break down, and that film protects from molding and stuff like that. So you should use a very basic cleaner, like a multi-purpose cleaner, like a Windex or a Fantastic. Even dish soap has a degreasing agent, and it will break down the film on the awning. So just use a very mild multi-purpose cleaner when you're cleaning your awning. Bringing this back in, B, because it might rain.
You never know.
Or it might get windy, bud.
It's fog.
On the outside, Brennan, what do you think we have to touch on?
Every Grand Design Reflection has the propane quick connect hookup, whether it has a outside kitchen or not, so we should touch on that.
Okay, we'll do that. Other maintenance item would be lubricating your door locks and your baggage door locks, because what will happen is as you go down the road for a couple years or a year or so, they will start to corrode or start to get hard to get the key in. So you should always lubricate your keyhole right here and here. What I do is I just stick my key in, spray a lubricant there just to keep that nice and running smooth. And then so we've lubricated the baggage doors there. Now we have a quick connect down here, and quick note, like last year there was a real shortage on these because there's a recall, so your reflection may not actually have this. But
the line's there.
The line is always there, you're right. Now this is like an air fitting, but a little more robust. So there's a sleeve you have to slide back, then you can put your gas hose in, hook it up. When you're traveling and when it's not in use, always have this plug in that hole just to keep dirt and grime out of there. And then there's a valve here to turn this on or off. Whenever you're hooking up the gas fitting with the gas hose, have this in the off position, then you can put this on and off. If you have this in the on position, it actually won't let you activate this sleeve. So you have to have this in the off position to activate the sleeve to put your hose in. That's good there. Outside speakers, we'll talk about how to turn those on and off when we get to the radio. I feel like that's it for the outside, Brendan.
Yeah, feel good.
Okay, let's go inside. Right on, folks. We're inside that reflection. We're going to continue here the orientation on the inside of this guy. Let's get the safety stuff out of the way first, Brendan. There's always a fire extinguisher by the door. That's for extinguishing fires, Brendan. Didn't know if you knew that.
Ooh.
So that's what that's for right through there. You should get that inspected, like whatever you do with fire extinguishers, but that's always going to be there. And then there's going to be a smoke alarm, usually in the center of the trailer. In this case, it's right here. With just a 9-volt battery, you should be checking that, twice a year, and just testing that. And obviously, if it starts beeping once every 30 seconds, because that battery's low. And then typically they put it in your bedroom. There's a carbon monoxide detector, same kind of idea. 9-volt battery, be checking that twice a year. And if it starts beeping once every 30 seconds, it's because the battery's dead. Neither one of these are hardwired in, so it's just the battery on these guys. Now, quick note on plugins and stuff like that. You're going to have 110 receptacles and USB receptacles. If you're plugged in the hydro, your 110 receptacle will work. If you're not plugged in the hydro, the 110 receptacle will not work. It's not run. There's no inverter built into these. These reflections are prepped for inverters, but they don't have inverters standard.
If you're hooked up to shore power.
Yeah. So
some people think hydro's water.
Yeah. So yeah, we have people watching the States. Pardon me.
Yeah.
Shore power. So if you're plugged into electrical hookup with shore power, the 110 receptacles will work. Otherwise, they won't work. The USB receptacles, and they just, like we're used to seeing, those will run right off the battery, so you don't have to be plugged into hydro to necessarily use your 12-volt USB connections. Up in the front here, we have washer-dryer prep on certain of these models. Now, the one thing that people forget about is, even if they're not using their washer-dryer prep, we have it over here to the side, you need to run antifreeze through those pieces there for when you're winterizing them. Okay, so even if you're not using them, got to make sure you run some kind of antifreeze through there. Thank you for the blue light, Brandon.
We gotta show off the cool things still.
Okay.
It's still a nice trailer.
It is still a nice trailer. It's a 341RD, great floor plan, great new interior.
It's available.
It's available as of what? November 2nd.
Yeah.
2022. All right. TV location right through here. There's prep for a secondary one. You have your 110 receptacle, which again you need to be plugged in for. You have a cable outlet here, and you have a satellite outlet here.
Oh.
So I should correct myself because there is a spot in that convenience center where you can hook up the satellite direct to bedroom, and it won't split. It'll just come straight to here, to your receiver to your TV.
Was there one outside too?
There was one outside too.
I thought so.
Yeah.
If you guys go look back, Josh realized it.
I realized
you
it.
can see it in his face.
Yeah. If you're looking at my face. Yeah. So I didn't realize this, but reflection actually runs a designated line for each TV spot for satellite. So and they're labeled there in your pass-through compartment in that area there.
As they should.
As they should, and as Josh should know. Right here, you have your TV backer location. There's supposed to be like a board in through here where you can screw a TV mount to. I wouldn't just run the screw in with your TV mount. I would screw in or drive in a small pilot hole just to be sure that there's actually wood in behind there. Because if you just run a screw in there, it's going to kind of make a mess of that wood. It's really hard to fill that properly with wood fill. So use a little tappings, like a little drill bit. Run that through. You can tell you have wood in behind there. And if there's not wood in behind there, at least that's a nice, easy, small hole to fill if you made a mistake. Really nothing else to talk about in the bedroom here, Brendan. We got these, roller shades in through here. Nothing really to talk about with that stuff.
And an emergency exit window.
Yeah, that's for emergencies, Brendan.
Yeah.
I would suggest using the door.
Well, sometimes you just gotta jump.
Yeah, so that's...
What if there's a fire in the hallway?
So how you do that is you rip off this screen, and then these two handles like this rotate in, and then the window would push out the bottom. Pardon me. It is still hinged at the top, so it's not like the window's going to fall right out. It just hinged at the bottom here so you can hop out of the trailer in an emergency. Now, this particular reflection has a second AC from the factory. The thermostat's right behind you there. Great work, Brendan. We might as well talk this while we're here, right?
Yes.
This thermostat that's in the bedroom has this built-in sensor. It's only for this AC. So we're going to have a mode button here at the bottom. Lights up. And we just go through the different modes. There's really only 5. So we have off, we have fan low, fan high, cool low, or cool auto. So if we're just running on if we just want the fan running, we just turn this to fan. It should kick on here in a second. There's our low fan. Kick it again. Should kick to high fan. There it is. Push the mode again. It should kick over to cool. Yep. So we're on high cool here. I can adjust. Did you hear the difference there, Ben, as the compressor came on?
And then, even though this is here, is it going through? It's going through all the ducts through the entire trailer, or just the ones here?
Through the entire trailer.
Cool. So you can run one. You don't have to run 2.
Correct. And maybe the AC is too loud for you, and you want to run the daytime one at nighttime, or the living room one at nighttime to keep things quieter. You can just alternate whatever AC you want to use. Now, what I just did there, Brandon, this is the dump for the air. But if I want to force the air to the ductwork, I'll close these, and now we'll come out the ducts. Obviously, more pressure in this area than it will down to the regular part of the trailer. And then we can just adjust the temperature, right? That's fairly straightforward.
We should start a duct cleaning business for trailers.
Yeah, we don't have enough things to do, right?
Yeah.
And then just go off. Okay. Easy peasy. You feel good about that? That's pretty straightforward, right?
I feel great. You don't really have to clean your ducts in a trailer, though, right?
Oh. I eventually will, I guess, right? I don't know. Toilet. I'm so used to sitting on the toilet. Yeah. So we have the water pump on right now. We have water in the tank, so the toilet's gonna work. I'm just gonna push this down. Now I'm flushing the toilet. You always want to leave a little bit of water in the bowl like that. That keeps the stink down. If I want to put more water in there, I'll just touch the pedal. Notice that's not opening the bowl up. Just putting more and more water in the bowl. So that will keep all the stink down in the trailer. Also makes for cleaning it easier.
To make this realistic, Josh just used the bathroom. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to drop trout. Actually, I was kind of messing with this last night, Brendan.
Yeah, this is a shower finally.
So there's actually an on-off right here on the shower nozzle.
Sounds like a shower miser.
No, not like a shower miser. But what it does do is, if you have the water at the temperature you want, right, like whatever's comfortable, but you want to save water, whether you're using a freshwater tank or whatever, you can just shut it off at the shower head here, lather up, and then turn it back on, and it'll stay at the same temperature. That way you're going to save water. Just a kind of a neat thing there. We're going to come back to the water here at the end, Brandon, don't you think?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll come back to that at the end. Coming down into living space here. Let's talk about gas, Brendan. So we've got the propane on the outside. We've turned the valve on. We've got the auto changeover valve on the regulator pointed to whatever tank we want. We've talked about it on the outside. First thing you're going to do before you try to light your furnace or your water heater or anything like that, or your oven, you're always going to come here and light your stovetop first. And to do that, we have to turn this to light and hold it in. If you don't hold it down, it's not running. Can you hear that, Brent?
I could.
Okay, now I'm going to spark it. Okay, but see how I let it off? It shut off right away. pretty straightforward. If you try to light your other stuff first, it's not going to run properly. Now the oven here, it's pretty slick actually, Brennan. I'm a pretty big fan of this.
Very nice looking oven.
So with this, you just turn this to spark. Are you actually seeing it down in there? And that sparker, you can hear that, is going to light the pilot light. I'm going to hold this in for a few seconds, let the thermocouple heat up, and then I'm going to turn it. If the pilot stays on, yep, pilot's still on, I'm going to turn it to whatever temperature you want.
You saw that flame start. Hopefully we can see the rest.
Yep. And then, 400, 475, whatever you want to do. It is in Fahrenheit. And then one thing that is kind of cool, there's a timer here, Brennan. Oh, we have to have this on. Sorry. There's a timer.
Very handy.
Pretty slick, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that on an oven in a trailer very often. Yeah, pretty cool. You shut the whole thing off, shuts the timer off, shuts the flame off there. Now, after we've lit the stovetop and the oven, we can go and light the water heater or light the furnace. The furnace is on the thermostat right here. That's the main furnace. Sorry, the main thermostat. So we have on this one we have a couple more modes. Actually, just one mode. We have fan for the AC, low, high, AC or cool, high, low, auto, and then we can go to heat. And heat is going to be for your furnace. We have the temperature set out here, 99. So it's less than 99 degrees in here. So the furnace should kick on. Now the fan will run at first, just making sure there's nothing in the system at all. And then you'll hear, like, if you're on the outside of the trailer more, you hear like a sparking, and that will light your furnace for you. You could hear that, Brad. I don't know if the camera's going to hear that.
Where's the return air? Is it below the...
Typically below the steps or built into the kitchen kind of thing. Different floor beds have different spots. And then if I want to shut the furnace off, I just go to off here on the mode button. Okay? And then again, adjust the temperature up and down. There is a, right below the thermostat, there's another kind of thermostat looking thing. This is specifically for your max fan that's in your kitchen area. We can turn that on. We can open up and down the vent. We can turn the fan off. 4 different fan speeds. That's pretty straightforward, I think, for you. In here, Brendan, we're going to talk about connecting to this compass connect at the end. But we have our awning lights, our ceiling lights, our interior lights, exterior lights, overhead lights, kitchen lights, all that stuff. You just put a switch on. Then we can see actually how full our freshwater tank is, how full our black water, gray water, all that kind of stuff in through here. One thing on the black water tank, they haven't figured this out yet. The black water tank is still very, very unreliable. It will be empty, but it'll still read 2/3 full, so never trust the reading on your black water tank. I filled the freshwater tank up, right, Brendan? So then we're at 1/3 or 2/3 here in through there, because we filled it up last night and been using that.
They should figure out how to do the black tank by weight.
Sure. It's been 30 years though of them not figuring it out. So
well, I'll go to engineering school. I'll put her together.
You should probably finish high school.
Yeah.
We are plugged in right now, so our battery's going to read 100% no matter what. If I were to unplug, this would give me a true reading of the battery right here. And then this guy right here just gives me a display for the solar panel charging your battery. You can play around with this.
Does that read correctly if you're plugged in?
Yes, that'll read correctly. That's giving us a reading of what's coming through into the battery. In and out for your awnings, in and out for your slide. The rack and pinion style slide will make that clutch noise when it's all the way in or all the way out. The Schwintek slides won't, they just stop. Schwintek slides are designed to be run all the way in or all the way out. Don't be doing it halfway in between. Always run your Schwintek style slide all the way in or all the way out. And if you don't remember, that's the one with the rail down the side. Always run that style slide all the way in or all the way out. And in general, if the slide is halfway in or halfway out, it will not seal. Like if rain's coming in, if rain's coming down, it will run into the trailer. So have your slide all the way in or all the way out. Microwave, Brian, I don't think we need to talk about a microwave.
Nope, no one uses them anymore.
No?
Well, some people think they're bad for you.
I think they're great for you.
Yeah.
My superpowers?
Yeah.
Straight
Off
from
the charts.
Yes. The fireplace, you just turn it on. You can adjust the how bright it is.
How tall the flame is.
Pardon me. Different colors. You can put a timer on. You can put the heat aspect on. You can do different flames. But that's all just a switch. There is a remote for that too. You can kind of mess around with that. We have a radio right here. We have a on off here on the left. Zone A and Zone B.
107.5 or 93.1.
Yeah, but where we got that?
Radio.
Oh, thanks. Now we're demonetized.
Yeah.
But you have Zone A, Zone B. You can adjust that. Zone A is inside, Zone B is outside. You can put a DVD in here. You can hook up Bluetooth to your phone. You can mess around with all that. But there is a remote for it as well. You have your switches. That's all pretty straightforward. I think that's good for the...
So that's running via HDMI to this TV, correct?
Yes. Yeah, there's HDMI cable that's coming from this to the TV itself.
Yeah.
And then there is also a coax around here, Brendan. So this one is cable right here, and that's running direct to your TV right now. If you were running a satellite receiver, you would hook up the satellite on the outside, run it to here, satellite to the receiver, receiver back into here, and that goes to the TV.
Okay.
Okay.
Then we got the plug on this side. That's where your TV is plugging in.
Yep. And then there's a TV antenna on the roof, Brendan. So the cable hookup is either going to run the cable or the TV antenna. And you have an on-off button right here, this red button, on-off for the TV antenna. Excuse me. It is early. I'm going to get phlegm.
And most of the TVs are, we're noticing, the Roku TVs.
Yeah, all the reflection TVs are Roku TVs, which means if you have like a Wi-Fi at the park, you can actually go to your Netflix app, YouTube, that kind of stuff on in through there.
Shut the music up?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah. Great tune.
Okay.
And there's a lock for that.
Yes, you should lock that when you're traveling, just so that doesn't flop down and break while you're going on the road. I think that's it of the generic stuff. You want to get into the water heater?
Let's do it.
Okay. So we're going to take a look at the Furrion water heater for 2023 reflection models. The controls for that seem to always be in the bathroom. So, you got a good view there?
Yep.
So first thing we're going to come in and do and hit the on-off button. Okay. Then we can adjust the temperature for the water heater. Okay. We can decide if we're going to run it on Fahrenheit or Celsius. That's that button. What's kind of cool about this is we can adjust the temperature, so if you have kids in the trailer, you don't want to get too hot, you can adjust it down to 100 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever you want to do. But we adjust that. But basically that's really it. It's ready to go now. So when I turn the hot water tap on, see how it dropped to 61, 73, 81, 95, 100, 100. The water heater is lit and it's heating up the water.
So it just lights itself?
Yep. So I have hot water.
Wow.
So like the actual operation of it is extremely easy. Water pump's going to shut off and the water heater is going to shut off as well. And I can and you can play around with this, go up and down with the temperature. That's pretty easy. And then if I don't want to run anymore, or I'm done for the trip, I can just turn this off. That is really easy.
Really cool.
Okay. Now on the technical aspect, there is something on the outside I'm going to talk to you about, Brendan. Let's go out there. Oh, cut the corner, Brandon. Good work, buddy. So this is the actual water heater right here. Take this off. And then this piece right here pulls out, like so. There's an on-off switch. There's a fuse, so if something's wrong, it could be the fuse. That's on-off switch there, sometimes that can get kicked off. We have a max min. That just controls the temperature. Always have this at max, and you control the rest of it from the inside. And then, pardon me, there is 2 drain plugs right here. I'm not sure what drains what, but when you're winterizing, you got to make sure you drain these so that there's not water in throughout the water heater itself. So, and when I did this last night, these are just hand tight. Yeah, so you can just hand tighten these. Take these
You just
out.
unscrew and the water pulls out?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Simple.
Simple. So that's your water heater. I think that's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Right on, folks. We're going to take a look at winterizing this Reflection 2023. We've kind of gone through the operation of the water heater and stuff like that, but now we're going to winterize this with the Nautilus system. We're going to go through the whole thing top to bottom. First thing we do is we drain the gray water, black water, freshwater tank, low point drains, and your water heater. Again, this is on a 2023 Reflection. So first thing we're doing, we're going to drain gray water tank, black water tank. I don't need to be simple, but make sure you don't just do this on your driveway and have your sewage run out in your driveway. But make sure those tanks are drained. Then we're going to come to the freshwater tank, and that's like a white gate valve. Drain the freshwater tank. Then we're going to drain the low point drains, and those are in different locations in each certain model. I just saw them. Oh, they're there. The minor sewer. So let all the water fall out. It's a little wet down here, Brandon. What it was again? Okay, so we've drained the tanks, we've drained the plumbing lines. Now we're gonna come in here and drain our water heater. There's a bronze one here at the bottom, that comes out first. And then the black one here at the top. That one sometimes is hand tight. Sometimes you need a little pliers there to get that started. Out. Come on, Josh. Like so. Water runs out. Make sure the tank is empty and been drained. Then we're just going to take these back, throw them back in. Again, this doesn't take a lot of tools like wrenches and stuff like that. We're just using our hands here at this point. And see how those red dots are like that, Brendan? They should be tightened in a way that they line up again. So, the big plastic one and the smaller bronze one. Good. Now, we're going to come to our Nautilus panel, turn these valves in a way that the winterizing lines up. So the white one's side by side, blue one side by side, and green one side by side. Then we're going to take a cutoff of a hose, just an old hose from home, whatever. Thread this in your city water connection. So, put this into a jug of antifreeze, like so. And turn the water pump on. Now, before we turn the water pump on, Brandon, what's going to happen?
What's going to happen? I don't know.
The antifreeze is going to suck in, but I didn't put the plugs back in on the low point
they're
drain.
just going to run right out?
Exactly. So we got to put the plugs back in. And actually, we're going to use these plugs to drain out the water at the end too. So we're going to do this all over again, but that's okay. There's a little rubber washer in there, so you just got to make sure these are hand tight. Okay, now because I've put these valves in this position, this hose is going to suck antifreeze from this water heater. Sorry, from this antifreeze jug. I'm just going to turn the water pump on. I can turn it on from the inside or the outside. Oh, I'm bleeding, man.
And you don't have to close your valves or the other tanks?
No. No, you just have to make sure the low point drains are plugged up. Can you hear the water heater throttling down? System's pressurized. Now I'm going to winterize all my fixtures. So we're out here already, so we're going to do the outside shower. Turn this until the antifreeze comes out. Okay, right? That was the hot side. Now we'll do the cold side. Okay. Good. Now, we've actually gone through most of that jug of antifreeze, so I'm going to turn the water pump off. Another one in. Now we're going to winterize the rest of the trailer. We're going to do the kitchen tap, bathroom tap, toilet. Don't forget to do the washer dryer, right? Outside shower, any kind of outside spray ports, any plumbing related things, you got to do that. Let's go up here to the bathroom. Water's coming out. Turn the antifreeze, yeah.
You shut the pump off.
Did I?
Yeah.
Didn't turn it back on?
No.
Oh, jeez, Brennan. Good thing we got a switch inside.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brennan.
No problem. Good thing I'm here.
Thanks, buddy. I'm like, man, what's going on? So we've done both hot and cold here in the bathroom sink. We're going to do the toilet. Okay. We're going to do hot and cold for the shower. Tank. Not a bad start to the day, Brandon, getting all wet. Do the washer dryer. Do that into a bucket though. Don't just do that in the front closet. Coming back down. Cold. Hot. Okay. Now, we're going to shut the pump off again. This is a one big key, Brendan, on this Nautilus system. Shut this pump off. We're going to go back to the Nautilus valves. Those three valves there. And you're supposed to leave these halfway. Okay, that's in the manual. After you've winterized the entire thing, shut the water pump off. Come here, leave these at a 45-degree angle. That winterizes both sides of these valves themselves. Okay, we're gonna leave them that way. Now, as a little bonus, what I like to do is I actually go back to the low point drains, drain out the antifreeze so that they're not like stinking. The antifreeze isn't stinking up the lines, and we'll do that now. I gotta tell you, Brent, I'm sick of these low points.
There would have been an outside spray port on here somewhere too, right?
Yeah, it depends on the model, but yes, I bet you there will be one here. So do your outside shower, do your outside spray port, do the what do you say? Washer dryer prep. I think it's just time to get wet, Brenna. Right on, folks. We just finished winterizing that Reflection 2023 up. I put the we drained out the low point drains, let all the antifreeze run out, ran those plugs back up in, so you're good to go for next spring. Remember, we put the plugs back in on the water heater as well, so those are in place. I've taken the hose off, and we're just ready to go for next year. So we used the water pump to run antifreeze through the trailer. We drained out the water heater first, though, put the plugs back in, ran the antifreeze through everything. We made sure we did the sinks, the toilet, the washer dryer, the spray port, the outside shower. All that was done. Now we're going to move on to connecting the Compass Connect app. So it's going to be a 2023 Compass Connect app on a Reflection fifth wheel. We are going to go inside to do that, but there is a piece here that's part of the Compass Connect app, which is part of the TPMS system. It's this little repeater in through here. So this is where the prep is. This goes on like so. I got that right? Yeah. Just in there like so. We got that started. We'll hook up to the actual unit inside the trailer. Come on in, Brendan. You good?
Yep.
Awesome, man. We the battery died in the camera, so if the lighting looks a little different than it did earlier, that's kind of why. But coming right inside the unit here, first thing we'll do is actually we're gonna go over here. In our owner's manual that comes from Grand Design, there is a sheet that says QR codes. And looks like this guy right here, we will need this for this part of the tutorial. Now, on my phone, what I've done, it's an iPhone, I've downloaded the Compass Connect app, but I haven't done anything to it. So I'm going to click on that. It wants me to view the licensing agreement. I have a really quick reader. I agree. Okay. Skip that. Now if I'm going to connect to a device, it asks me to push the plus icon. We'll do that. We have all these options here. I can connect the RV, the camera, safety systems, temperature sensor, tire link, all that kind of stuff. We're going to start with the RV. Click on that. I'm going to scan with the camera. It's asked me to grant permission to do that. Continue. I'm going to allow while using app. You would like to use my camera. Okay. And then we're going to take our QR code. Now it's asked me to press the Bluetooth pairing button on your monitor panel, which is what this guy is right here. It's giving me this thing, in motion lock enable. I must be walking too fast. RV connected successfully. Continue. I can go through all this stuff. It's Grand Design. Reflection. You good, B?
You need the VIN.
I don't really want to do them. Do I have to do them?
I think you have to.
Really? Well, we're going to find out here. 341 RDS, which we're in. I gotta do the damn thing. 573 FR. Nine 2 2 6 8 1. Return. Confirm. RV details are set successfully. Continue. And now this is just the basic fun stuff, right? I can do my awning light, my ceiling light, my step light. I can turn all that on and off right from my phone, which is pretty slick. I can do extend or retract my awning. I can retract my awning. I can do my leveling. I can check out my monitor panel, my tank heater, which is like the tanks, yeah, the tank heaters anyways, water pump, slides, all that kind of stuff, right? Pretty slick, pretty straightforward. Now, oh, that's kind of cool. They give me an RV light on, all off. Cool. Now, if I want to add the TPMS system, I'm going to click Tire Link. And it wants me to obey all traffic laws. Not planning on it. Gives me this option here. Connecting to TireLink. Right on. So moving over to the TPMS system. It comes in this box that we've opened up in through here. There's a few things in here. There's that repeater thing we put on the outside. There's a nice quick start guide, so make sure you read through that. There's the instruction manual or owner's manual. And then there was TPMS sensors, and I'll show you what they look like, but we've already threaded those onto the valve stems, taken off the green ones, left them in here. Now on the actual app here, we can do our lights, our voltage, that kind of stuff. We can go to mode, and you can click on Tire Link. Okay, and now it's giving me the tire pressure for the front axle and the rear axle. So we're at 73 psi. I think we're supposed to be at 80 actually.
We are.
Yeah. So these are technically under pressure. So we should fix that, Brendan, before we take this camping.
We should. It's cool how it tells you like how warm the tire is too.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's funny is,
At what temperature would a tire pop?
At 1,000,000.
At 1,000,000?
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
So
at least.
So that's pretty slick. It's giving me that in through there. Tire pressure monitoring on your phone through this app. Go back. Yeah, you can really play around with this app, which is pretty slick. You can see how full your fresh water is, your gray water is, right from here. We empty the fresh water when we winterize, so that all makes sense. In through there. Brandon, you feel we've covered it all?
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a play around thing, because there's like stuff where you can set up like all like your steps for like showing up to a campground and stuff like that, like in one of the modes. So there's some cool stuff that you customize to your own liking.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some pretty slick stuff. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, that's the video, folks. I know it was long. Feel free to skip ahead. I guess you would have already skipped ahead in the video. But we appreciate you guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Leave us a comment down below, and then have yourself a good day.